When we were little girls, many of us were gifted with baby dolls to watch over and take care of. And for many, that was where the dream of being a mother started. As little girls, the idea of what an ideal mother is formed by our families, by our friends, our experiences with our own mothers, and by society as well. But as adults, when we grow up, we realize that motherhood is very much a personal, individual experience. And while many of us are called mom, as all the ladies with me here are today, you'll find out that we each live out this role in a very different way. I'm Anna P. Santos, and this is Whippet's Mom's the Word, brought to you by Pantene. Joining me this evening are 6 incredible women from different facets, different industries, who are going to talk to us about their own experiences of motherhood. For those of you who want to join us, please tweet your questions and comments using the hashtag #WhipIt. I'm very happy to introduce my guests this evening. To my left is Michelle Aventejado, blogger at Mom in Manila, a yoga teacher and a Rappler contributor. Michelle is going to talk to us about raising a child with an extra chromosome. Welcome, Michelle.
Good evening, Anna.
And here next to me is Patty Balquedra. She's a blogger at nonstoppable.com and owner of Yellow Bird Shoes and a social media consultant. All of the moms here have different roles, never just one, no? Patty is a breast cancer survivor, and she's going to talk to us about whipping the big C. She's got a thing or two to say about that. Gladys Bansinillo is General Manager and Chief Operating Officer of Kara Philippines. It's one of the largest and fastest growing media agencies in the Philippines. She's also a single mother to 2 young girls, and her climb to the C-suite was an arduous one, as any climb to the C-suite is. But hers was made sweeter by food. Gladys is going to tell us a little bit more about that later. Connie Fortich is a fitness ambassador, gym manager, and mother to 1 daughter. Connie is a single mom who has whipped life into giving her second chances. Jamie Pizarro is known as, in the racing circuit, as the Bull Runner. She's a mother to 2 kids, and Jamie has joined Ironman 70.3, not once, but twice. And she'll talk to us about balancing motherhood and being an athlete. And Gladys Garcia Tomino is a blogger at mommymusings.com and mother to 1 girl who will share her experiences about being a military wife. Welcome, Gladys. Good evening, ladies. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and I'm so happy to have all of you here with us.
Thanks, Anna. Thanks for having us.
I'm going to start off this with Michelle. Okay, Michelle, on your blog and on your Instagram account, you say that you're mother to 4 kids, and one of those 4 kids has an extra chromosome. And you have related to that description of yourself an advocacy about creating awareness for children or about children with special needs and creating a sense of inclusion. Tell us about that.
My 4th child was born with Down syndrome, and I didn't know that she had Down syndrome until she was born. So the trauma of learning something or accepting that my child now had special needs was something to overcome. And I can imagine that as a parent, when you're given the diagnosis, whether it's at birth or whether it's when the child is older, because there are other special needs besides Down syndrome, how important it is, I know how important it is for us to have a network of other people to support us and get us through those initial days, weeks, months, however long it takes us to get to that point where you turn the corner and you realize you're here for a reason. Mm-hmm. Your baby was given to you for a reason. And if that reason for me is to create the awareness, nurture the acceptance, and reach people by having them understand that, you know, we all need to be empathetic to one another, and that if my child has Down syndrome, it's not about what she can't do, it's about what she can do. Mm-hmm. And you know, because there's many things that come along with a child that has Down syndrome. many physical characteristics or challenges, as well as intellectually. And but she's no different than anyone else. She still feels the same emotions that we all do. She needs love, just like we all do. She wants to feel accepted. She wants to be included. And for me, that, knowing that she's here, knowing that it's my job to make the world a better place for her, that, and in the process touch other people too, because I can see that having her in my life has completely shifted my perspective and shifted the perspective of people around us. So,
Michelle, you have this blog post about hashtag end the R word. What is that end the R word hashtag that you want to wait?
That's actually really close to my heart. And I think that once someone makes you aware of something, it's your responsibility to be sensitive to that. And if, and the R word is a campaign where the R word is like a curse word. It's like me calling someone the N word or the C word, or, there is in no way, it can't be valued or even called a medical term. Like people will say that it was a medical term, and yes, it was.
Right.
Being mentally retarded is a term that's outdated by doctors, and just recently, it was ruled in the U.S. that using that diagnosis or that phrase or that label, it's not acceptable anymore.
You talk about labels, Michelle. What other labels did you have to fight against as a mom, as
a mom of a special needs child, or even
as a mom in general?
As a mom in general, well, I personally, I never liked the just a housewife thing, because although now I do lots of different things, I've been allowed to explore those avenues of myself and the creativity of writing and doing all these other things besides taking care of my children in my home. Just the housewife always bothered me, because you're just the housewife. It's like, no, I'm so much more. And I think that label was difficult for me to accept, and maybe I don't accept it. I don't think it's okay. So moving on from that, I explored other things that interested me and shared them also, not just with my kids, but with my friends, other women who are like-minded, who also do other things. Yes, we keep house, but we do other things too. Everyone keeps house. If you're a mom, you have kids, you got to keep
Everybody's got to
they
keep
leave
house
their
here,
stuff
right?
Everywhere. So, yeah, so we all do that, I think.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Michelle. I'm going to talk to you, Patty, now about beating breast cancer. I read on your blog that you had just tried yoga, and you admitted how it was a little hard because you had several post-cancer surgeries. But never mind, you were gonna do it, and I was so interested.
I really wanted to do it, especially because I was with her.
With Michelle.
She's a yogini, right?
Right.
So I was feeling a little bit competitive that day. No, but I was first to admit when I think I didn't last more than 15 minutes, so.
Okay, was it your first time to try yoga?
It was my very first time, yeah.
Okay. Connie on her blog was Patty was saying that she had never tried yoga. You give yourself too much credit. She had never tried yoga, but never mind, she was going to try it because she wasn't going to let cancer get her down. Right?
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about you call yourself now a patient advocate.
I'm a patient advocate. I'm also, I also feel very strongly about early detection, so I speak to people a lot about it, not formally, but whenever I can, through my blog, when I get together with friends, because the reality is that breast cancer is one of the most common, in fact, it's probably the most common type of breast cancer among women. And I've learned a lot since my own diagnosis. So initially it was a choice between keeping quiet or going all out and speaking about my own experience. I had to think about it maybe twice or thrice because I understand that there are certain perils when you talk about something as delicate as cancer online,
Yep.
where you're exposed to almost the entire world. But I made the decision to go public because I wanted to voice out the importance of early detection. Because my breast cancer was detected early. It's only been over a year since my diagnosis. I failed to mention to you earlier that they say you're a survivor from day one.
Okay.
From the time that you're told you have it. But technically speaking, I'm still fighting it today because mine came back soon after. I mean, just a year after. So this is my second round with breast cancer. So early detection, going back to early detection, it's really key because in any kind of illness, it's really best to nip whatever it is in the bud. Your doctor will be able to do so much more if you discover your cancer early. So that's what I always harp about when I talk to women. Isn't it better to know than to regret later on because you could have done something about it and you didn't.
No regrets.
So that's really why I decided to go public about my breast cancer.
You had to deal with not just the cancer, but with other labels as well. What was the toughest label that you had to deal with?
As a result of being diagnosed, it was when people would simply label you as sick or disabled or call you the word patient. It was so off to me every time somebody would call me that because to be honest, before the diagnosis, I had never even been hospitalized outside of giving birth to my 2 children. Everyone in the house would be sick except for me. So this was the first time I was dealing with, something as serious as cancer. And it was a struggle for me to come to terms with the fact that I was sick because I certainly didn't feel like it. I also didn't look like it. I know I still don't. Diba? I mean, people are surprised when they see me and when they find out it came back and I'm still actually in treatment sometimes it's hard to reconcile.
Right.
But, at the end of the day, you just do what you have to do.
How did you fight that label? That feeling you don't like the word being called patient or disabled, or how did you fight that?
My personality kasi is I tend to make fun of things or situations.
Yeah.
So
A lot of us do.
when people ask me, "Oh, how are you? I heard it came back." Does it look like it came back? Or are you okay na? Don't I look okay? I just really turn it around and say, because I don't like playing the victim. Because when I start to play the victim, that's when I feel the cancer is getting ahead of me. So that's really my main focus, is not to let the cancer get ahead of me.
I think what we talked about here is that people sometimes what people say to us or how they greet us kind of brings out a defensive note in us. And Michelle and Pat, you might also want to say something about how, okay, I have cancer, I have a child with special needs. Some people just don't know how to approach that. To be fair, right? It's not to be impolite, it's not to be insensitive. They just don't know what to say. So, what should they not say? What should they say?
You want to answer that first?
Well, I'm sorry.
It's not
It's
one.
not something I want to hear because I'm not sorry. Or, using a word that is outdated, of course. Or, one of the things I remember when a friend of mine first found out that my daughter had Down syndrome and saw me right after giving birth, he hugged me and he says, I'm so sorry. And I said, don't be, I'm okay, and so is she. So I think if anything, the small talk would actually be better than trying to comfort me. Like, I don't know. I suppose. I guess it's just talking to me like a regular person.
Okay.
You know, and
Yeah.
I agree.
just
I agree.
saying, "What's up? How are you?"
Patty, talking to you?
I totally agree. Our circumstances may be different,
Yes.
but there's the situations that we encounter we're practically almost the same. I remember this incident when a friend called me up, and she just automatically assumed that because the cancer came back, I was in a worse position than I
my.
was previously. So when she called me, I knew she meant well.
Yes.
But I was having a bad day. And when she called, she just simply asked, I want to go visit you today because I'm free. But I wanted to ask you first, are you up to it? Are you in bed? Are you up? Can you see me? Is it okay for me to go? Should I wear a mask?
Ooh.
So when she called me, and she called me on my mobile phone, I lied to her and I said, look, can I call you back? Because I'm driving to the grocery.
Right.
But I wasn't actually driving to the grocery.
Yeah.
So we put the phone down, and she knows. Now she knows. Okay, I had to tell her. I said, what on earth were you thinking? Why did you even assume I was in bed and sick and not feeling well and whatever it is you were thinking?
I think it's from both of you what I'm getting, and ladies, it's like we don't want you to feel sorry for us.
No.
We're just normal. Everything is fine.
Yeah.
Things are normal.
Because it really won't help if you do.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, Gladys, I'm going to go to Gladys. Gladys, your climb to the C-suite, as we were saying, had something to do with buko pie, or was made possible by buko pie. And anything, ladies, with buko pie has got to be interesting.
Oh yeah, it's delicious. Regarding that buko pie story, well, when I decided to separate with my husband, I was barely 30. I was struggling. I mean, in the advertising world, crazy deadlines, all this work, and then I go home to Los Baños and to Makati every
Wow.
single day. And of course, I have to manage my finances. So I've thought, whenever people ask me, oh, did you go home to Los Baños? By the way, can you buy buko pie? So I got that idea. Why not bring buko pie every day in the office? So with 20 peso margin for each buko pie, I was able to cover my bus fare. And I somehow survived it for at least 3 months. It's kind of tough because it's heavy and you practically stand up in the bus the whole time. But it's getting used to it, and my kids is really my determination and my inspiration to be able to pass through that journey. And I'm very thankful with my friends who keeps on buying that buko pie every other day. I don't know where they put those buko pie. Maybe they give it away to your neighbors. How can you eat buko pie every other day?
At some point, I heard they were asking for quesong puti already.
Yes, they even asked quesong puti. I said, no, I need to bring, what do you call that? Cooler. So it's gonna be tough.
Harder pa.
Yeah, so,
That might cost an extra seat on the bus.
yeah.
But Gladys, that determination you think had really something to do with your climb to the C-suite.
Yes, because I could have easily given up my career. I mean, I was separated, I have kids, I'm living in Los Baños. I could have just stayed. Of course, I love my hometown, but I wanted to continue with my career. I didn't want my, my personal problems to, for me to struggle with my career. So,
What were growing up? I mean, you were a single mom, you were a working mom, you were in advertising, very long, demanding hours. What labels did you have to deal with given that situation?
well, a lot, especially when I was much younger, 20 pounds before, 10 years younger. I get here and there a bit of indecent proposals, and I hate that because they think because you're separated, you're looking for fun or you're looking for help. Well, that's not fair. That's one. Two, when you're separated, it's like, oh, maybe you're a nugget, something's wrong with you. They
It's
don't even know
your
the
fault.
story. Of course, you don't tell people what happens inside your house or your bedroom, but they can just easily, jump into conclusions and, judge you. That I really hate it.
How did you fight against that?
Well, I just had to focus. I choose my battle. Sometimes I just ignore them.
Yes. So some don't be
I don't
deserve to be
have to
dignified.
justify myself to everyone, and especially people who doesn't understand your situation.
Connie, you like Gladys are a single mom as well, and as a again, daming other things, no fitness advocate, gym manager. But tell me first about your relationship with your daughter Sandra.
Oh, my daughter. My daughter's turning 18 soon, so I have almost an adult already. So she is very understanding actually. I was expecting her to be very demanding about my time with her, about everything in the house. But I guess because she grew up that with separated parents already. She got to adjust, and then every time she would miss me, she'd just text me. She'd just text me like, "Mom, can we date tonight?" And then of course I'd rush home. Okay, I'll go home. Let's watch a movie. And then sometimes she wouldn't let me pay for the movie. She'd use her allowance that she gets from her dad. So yeah. And then she just recently, I think about last week, she told me that you're my mom, but you're also my BFF. So it feels so good to feel. Siyempre, may I cry?
I think all of us want to shed a little tear there.
And she's already 17, so she's very mature already for her age. Well, when she was 10, she was already mature. She understood everything. She wouldn't ask me why I didn't have time for her in the evening, especially now that I'm doing a lot of work in the gym because I manage the gym. I come home, the gym closes at 10, so she just stays home. You want me to cook dinner for you? Because she cooks well. She's getting into culinary school, so you want me to cook dinner for you? No, it's okay. Let's just go out. And then when I come home, she'd have cooked hard-boiled eggs, or she'd have cooked her. She does the chicken burger so well because I don't eat red meat, so she knows what to cook for me. She'd cook anything, or she'd buy food for me outside. So when I get home, I just sit down and eat and chat with her. So.
You know, you put a very interesting spin. A lot of people think that solo motherhood is just sad.
It's not.
No, it's not.
No way.
Actually, come to think of it, I don't know about you, but I got really close to my daughter because it's just the two of us. Not me against us against the world, but it's just the two of us at home. Although I have my boyfriend with me who comes by from time to time, but we have quality time together. Although it's just like 10 minutes or before going to bed, before sleeping, but we still have quality time. We always have our heart-to-heart talk. We talk about her, we talk about me, or her friends, anything. Anything.
I can relate to that because my kids, 13 and 15, they're teenagers already, but we practically sleep in my bed every night, even if they have their own rooms. So we're really close, and she's correct. Maybe because it's a function of being a single mom. But as I always say, there's nothing single about being a single mom. So you can never be lonely.
So true. You also wanted, let's talk about also whipping life into giving you second chances, Connie. Because there are some labels that single moms face, and I know this also. You're damaged goods. You're never gonna find love again.
Right. So you're so kawawa. You're so desperate to get a partner like that. So everyone like Gladys should have suitors, indecent proposals like that. So parang not just I didn't have those, of course, but kasi I guess as a big girl, parang they wouldn't dare.
And you lift weights. Connie lifts weights. She pumps iron.
Sure, you can carry the weight. I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, they would just say, can you handle raising your kid all alone? You know, parang kaya mo ba? Can you handle it? Kaya mo ba siyang palakihin na mag-isa? I'm not alone. I have my family, I have my friends, and I have my daughter to help me. To help me help her grow up well. Yeah.
That's another thing. You kind of delegate also the growing up. They can grow up a little bit on their own as well at a certain point in time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't just spoon feed her. I cannot do that. Otherwise, she won't be able to. She won't learn anything.
Glyza, you're not technically a single mom, but as you say in your blog, you're a military mom and you are geographically single.
Yes.
Ang ganda ng term. May GPS ba ang geographically single?
Maybe.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm Glyza. I've been married for 4 years, and I'm a mom to a 3-year-old girl. My husband is a member of the Philippine Army, and he's been serving for the last count for the last 6 years, 7 years, going 7, I guess. But even if we've been married for only 4 years, we've been together for about 7 years now, and then and sometimes yun nga, there are people who'd say, hirap ba? That's basically what the most basic comment that I get from people whenever they find out that I'm a military wife. They say, mahirap ba? Parang will it ever work out for you? Parang just I also tell my readers on the blog that I never actually dreamed of marrying a soldier. It wasn't. Parang I did not plan it in any way. Parang when I was younger, I dream of like marrying a normal guy. It's just the one that who goes to
the office?
Yeah, goes to the office and then
Goes home every day.
at
Goes-
7 p.m. would
Actually,
go,
yeah, goes home every day.
But when I was a little bit younger, I've always dreamed of becoming a wife and a mom. I did not dream of climbing the corporate ladder or whatsoever. But I was going through my old stuff before, and it's consistent. I really wanted to be just like what Michelle said about being a housewife. It's not really an easy thing to do. I mean, they say, wala pa kayong ginagawa. You're just a housewife, diba? You're just staying at home, taking care of the kids, cooking, washing. But in reality, I've been with the corporate sector before, but it's tough. It's harder when you become. It's not an easy task, if I may say it. Especially my husband is always away. He only gets to go home to us every twice or thrice a year for 4 to 6 months interval. So wala na. My dream of having the cooking for the husband and then someone would get home and taste your food. I don't enjoy that kind of stuff.
How do you keep the relationship going? It's a long
Yes, it's a
distance
long
relationship.
distance. Yeah, that's the first thing when I got together with my husband. That's the first hurdle somehow. The remark, I guess, or comment from people I receive from people, and they say, will it ever work out? I was studying. We were both students. I was studying here in Manila and he's in Baguio. So basically, he goes home lang like semestral break and all those stuff. But it's tough, yeah. They say, will it ever work out ba yan? Parang is it difficult? Yes, I guess it worked for us, especially with the help of technology. So we get to, unlike before, I actually consider myself luckier military wife in this time, because back at those days, we don't have cell phones. I hear some stories about yung mga, I don't want to call them older, but the military wives that
It's okay, my mom was a military wife.
Yun, parang mahirap yung the stories I hear is like they would go to like radio messaging pa yung, and then you would go to the tuturo ka lang, may Morse code pa yata or whatsoever. That's what I heard. Unlike now, you have cell phone, and sometimes if you're luckier, your husband gets to assign to a place with good reception, then you can talk, you can Skype, Viber, and all those things. But basically, I'm very thankful for the technology because it is helping us a lot cope with our situation. And my daughter, sometimes I just remember this story. My daughter was watching TV, and then she saw you mentioned about Barbie a while ago, and it just reminded me. She was watching TV, and then she was working on the computer, was doing some blog stuff, and then she came to me, mommy, look, it's so nice. She's talking about this Barbie mermaid stuff that so much. She told me about it. Mommy, I like this for my birthday. That's what she said. And then I told my daughter, oh, it's really nice, baby, but I'm sorry, mommy has no money for now. That's what I told her, because I'm budgeting all this stuff, and I mean, we don't, even if she's the only girl, we don't really give her the impression that we give her everything. But sometimes I tell her, mommy, this is what we have for some discipline in the home. This is what we have for this month, and I'm sorry we can't buy that thing for now. Maybe sometime. And then she would go and say, it's okay, mom. Just call dad. He has money. So we would say that. Just call daddy. He has money. So. And then I would tell my husband, he would just laugh at it. So I'm very thankful with the technology.
It keeps the families together
Yes.
still and really connected.
Yes.
Jamie, I'm going to go to you. You're more known, you're equally known as the bull runner, which speaks a lot about what you're passionate about. You're passionate about running, and you're equally passionate about motherhood. How do you manage being an athlete and being a mom?
Actually, I think there's a misconception that training for a marathon or even a triathlon takes a lot of time, and I mean that you're spending the entire day running, swimming, and biking.
Okay.
The truth is, if you're good at time management, which is like what all of us moms do on a daily
Or
basis.
try to do.
I mean, yeah, it's all about time management. If you can just wake up earlier or squeeze like a workout in the middle of the day, then you will be able to juggle your career and working out, fitness, running, marathoning, and taking good care of your kids. Because like me, I'm very hands-on with the kids. So it all actually works out as long as you're able to make full use of your time and use it wisely. So
Did you ever have to kind of face other comments or the perception of others that training or being in a marathon takes away time from being with your kids?
It's never been said, but of course, I know that some people may think may label you as like selfish or even vain. That some people will think, what are you doing, just working out? Yeah, I mean, you're working out trying to get your abs and look sexy or whatever.
And that's not a bad thing.
Exactly. Actually, what happened for me is that initially I got into running way back in 2006 to lose weight. So yeah, there's some vanity in there. It was to lose the weight from giving birth to the 2 kids. But as I fell in love with running and as I began to progress with it, I found that like within 6 months of running, the focus on weight, the focus on how I looked, reduced considerably. Actually, I was just focused on getting stronger. I wanted to become faster. I wanted to run longer and farther. And what I found at that time in my life, that was both my kids were toddlers. At that time in my life, I was a freelance graphic designer. And I felt lost. I mean, I had work, but I was working from home. And so I missed out on my old office mates. I'd see my girlfriends once in a while because they were all working. But I felt like lost, and I felt like I needed something to make me feel like a person again, to feel like me again. Not just a mom, not just a wife, but someone, an individual. And what I found was that running gave me that. The first thing it did was that it gave me a goal for myself only. It wasn't about like buying something for the kids, making sure that their future is secure, not just like a dream for the family, dream vacation. It was just mine and mine alone. And so it gave me a goal for myself. And then with every race, or like I do a 5K, the next time I do a 10K, initially you start that race thinking, how am I gonna do this? I mean, am I gonna die in this race? But once you achieve something, you actually realize, I can do it, and I'm much, much stronger than that, and it empowered me.
You surprise yourself with what you're able to achieve.
Especially with the marathon. So that's a 42K. When I did my first marathon, it's like, I tell this to all my running friends, and even to non-runners actually, that when you cross the finish line of a 42K, you just can't believe that you did it. And there's just so much suffering in those 42K, in that 42K, that automatically, as in I crossed the finish line, I just felt stronger. I felt like whatever would come confront me in my life, not just in running, I would be able to overcome. And so running has basically turned my life upside down. So when I encounter like labels like you're selfish or you're vain, parang as a whole, running makes you a better person, makes you a better individual, makes you a better mom, a better wife. So how can you say that about running and marathoning? As long as I think you're able to control yourself, there's a tendency to go overboard. As long as you know that your priority is still your family. You cannot train all day and forget about the kids and work. So as long as you know what's important in your life and you use running to enhance your life, then that's what works.
I want to touch on what you said, Jamie, about, oh, you're so vain. Parang, you just want to get fit, but it's looked at as being vain. Do they all want us, do they expect us moms to be losyang? Connie, I mean, in the fitness industry, what is this now? Are we supposed to all look losyang, or moms picking up after themselves?
Yeah, well, we get that a lot. Like me, I work out a lot, not too much sometimes, but it's only when I have time, right? It's only when I have time. Like if I have like 2 hours, I'd work out, but there's rest, and you'd be called narcissistic, you'd be called vain, you'd be called, selfish. Selfish is very common in fitness, in bodybuilding, in any form of fitness, fitness-related sport. For me, one of the reasons why I started working out also, apart from the health issues like borderline hypertensive, because I was eating too much, too much fatty food. I had, as what a Chinese doctor would say, a fatty liver. Fatty liver. So I had that, and then also I had a heart problem. It was really, really mild heart disease called mitral valve prolapse. Okay.
Sounds scary, even if it is a mild heart disease.
Yeah, it gives you palpitations, regurgitations, they call it. I call it a mechanical problem of the heart, because you don't fix it, you just learn to manage it. Okay, so what the doctor told me was I should take up swimming, which I love to do anyway. So I started swimming again. And then I also joined a lot of aerobics classes, because that was one of his recommendations. It was when I was doing a lot of aerobics that I felt better. Okay. I couldn't swim much because the available pool there then was YMCA here in Makati, and, you know. So I did a lot of aerobics. It made me feel better. Okay. Yeah, my heart improved actually. My heart health improved, and it made me feel stronger. And then I also went into powerlifting. That's just so I would feel very good about myself, feel strong. Okay, so when I was told na, Sus, kaya mo bang palakihin yung anak mo? Kaya mo bang mag-isa? Kaya bang Well, nakabuhat ako ng mabigat. Bakit hindi ko kayang, di ba? Why can't I fix my life then?
Na literal, nakabuhat ka
Yeah.
na mabigat na literal.
Hindi naman masyado. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Sometimes moms are not are not expected or to spend time on looking good or spend time on themselves. Like it's a bad thing to take care of ourselves, and maybe also because we're so used to putting other people ahead of us.
Yeah, that kind of mindset. I guess just to build on Jamie and Connie's point, it's really a matter of balancing act. I mean, you don't have to lose yourself, your passion, your dreams. For example, she likes running, she likes going to the gym. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of balancing your priorities, making sure your family is okay. And in fact, it even helps you to become a better person, more
And a better mom.
confidence. Yeah, exactly.
When you're happy.
I think
Yeah.
and ladies, you know, feel free to pipe in, but isn't when you feel good about yourself, you're a better mom.
I was gonna go to that because when you feel better about yourself, you're fit, you're healthy, you're able to take care of your kids
And you look good.
very well. You look good. Your kids will be proud of you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
look good,
that
you
one I
feel
know.
good.
Yes, that's right.
It's not about being vain.
No, it's not. It's not.
In fact, my kids is my number one critic. Oh, don't wear that. They choose my shoes, my bag. I mean, kids would like to, you know, they admire their moms. So if you look good, they're inspired more.
It's really not a bad thing to put yourself first sometimes.
yeah.
You're able to take better care of others when you take care of yourself.
That's right. That's right.
Now, ladies, I want to ask a collective question now. You all shared your individual experiences in motherhood, you know. Compare that to what you thought motherhood was like or would be like as a little girl. How different or the same is it?
I think it's crazy different than what I thought it was going to be like.
Crazy different.
I mean, I didn't know how much of myself I would be putting out there, literally. You know,
Yeah.
I have 4 little people walking around in this world, and they're here because of me. So my heart walks outside of my chest all the time. They say that. And it's exhausting. I never thought it would be so tiring, but probably the most extremely rewarding and gratifying thing we could ever, I mean, without all that work that we put into it, it's just natural that how much we put ourselves into our children, that we get that much satisfaction when we see them take their first steps at 2 instead of 4 when I was told, you know, like the time we put into our kids, it's worth it, and we see it, we reap it, they're our legacy. So what we give to them, they give back tenfold. And I think as tiring as it is to be a mom sometimes, especially of 4, it's that much more gratifying and empowering when you see your daughter do something that you know they said she couldn't do, or your son succeed in something that he put his heart and soul into too. So I think it's tiring but extremely gratifying.
Motherhood really leaves you very raw and vulnerable.
Extremely vulnerable.
We all have people who depend on us. And
I cry a lot more now. Yeah. I'm a self-proclaimed crybaby.
Did that happen to a lot of you? Like after motherhood, it was like tears would come to the eyes a little faster.
Yes, that's right.
You became a
softer.
totally different person once you become a mom. I think it's that. Everything changes.
You also get more sensitive, I guess.
But tougher.
But tougher.
Tougher, yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Gladys, growing up, what was motherhood like, and what was it like as it is now for
Well,
you?
in my case, it's quite different because, as I said, I've been separated quite early. So I was concentrating on both work and making sure that they're okay. But more and more, you realize that you practically draw your strength from them. So everything is all about them. They come first before you. I think it's that. And you have to be responsible. You have to be careful with what you do. You have to, because, you know, you're answerable to them. I think it's that. It shapes you, and in a way, it defines you as a person and in the future,
Makes you
everything
better.
is all about them. Yeah.
It really makes you better.
Yes.
you better.
Definitely, in a positive way.
And Patty?
Me, well, growing up, I was daddy's girl. I was the only girl. So secretly, every single day, I think until I was 10 years old, I prayed that I would never ever have a baby sister. That's how selfish I was.
Type A.
Kasi daddy's girl, diba? But of course, motherhood changes that. I mean, the pagkamaldita, it stayed until later on Even as you get into high school and then college, it's the daddy's girl syndrome. You get what you want whenever you want it. But once you have kids, it's a total turnaround. It's, diba, when they say in Tagalog, isusubo mo na lang,
Yes.
ibibigay mo pa sa kanila. So, that's how motherhood has changed. I mean, I had no idea. Absolutely no idea what I was in for.
And what you signed up
Yeah.
for, huh?
But I have no regrets too, so.
Jamie, what was it? What did you think motherhood would be like?
I'm the youngest of 7 kids.
Wow.
So I grew up coming home from school, seeing my mom sitting down, just watching TV and relaxing, because I think the gap between us with our siblings was so huge that my older sisters also helped her take care of me. So I think, and she was a housewife. My mom was a housewife. I grew up thinking that the mom waits for you when you get home from school, gives you your allowance, in the morning wakes you up for school and sends you off, and that's pretty much it. So when I had my own kids, I just have 2 kids, I realized that there's so much more to it than that. I mean, you're really responsible for molding future adults. I mean, these guys are gonna grow up and they will be citizens of the world, and you have to make sure that they know what is right from wrong and every other thing. I also realized that it's not just what you tell them, it's how you act with them as well.
What they
So
see,
they learn
what they
from
see,
what you do.
what is
So
what
you
is
really
what
have
is
to
what
make
you
sure
do.
that whether
You
you're
lead by
at home or
example.
you're outside, you're a good person. So that's what they'll eventually do as well. So there, I just didn't know there's so much more to it than that.
Our mothers made it look easy when we think about it.
I remember one Mother's Day, I called my sister and I asked her, how did mom do this? Because my sister's 3
And there's
kids.
7,
We have
right?
2, we were 7. I have no idea.
They made it look really easy, our moms. Connie.
Yeah. Funny you should say that because I grew up knowing that my mom had progressive blindness.
Oh, okay.
Before she passed away, she was 95% blind. And she was, as she described it, it was like she was peeping through a keyhole. So, but she made it look so easy, raising us, taking care of us every day, even when she was struggling. Now I remember when she was writing for one broadsheet, my sister and I would sit beside her. She was using the good old typewriter, and then would be her proofreaders because she couldn't read what she was writing anymore. So, parang that was our bonding time. Come to think of it, we had a lot of bonding time just helping her with her work. So I think for her, even when she was blind, she was making it look easy for us. She was taking very good care of us. I thought it was easy. It wasn't, but at the same time, it's really rewarding.
Yeah.
When I see, like I said earlier, when my kid's really very sweet, and then she takes care of me now. It's the other way around. It's a reverse.
So they don't tell us how hard it is, but nobody can ever really tell us how rewarding it is as well.
That's true.
You have to feel that for yourself. And Glyza?
For me, I think when growing up, unlike Jane, she's the youngest. I'm the eldest naman among 4 kids. Growing up, my mom, I would always see my mom working hard, earning a living, doing the household chores. So at first, I thought it was boring. That's what I thought. Parang, there's no other life than being a mom. But now that at this point, I just wanna tell other moms that motherhood shouldn't be boring. I enjoy motherhood a lot, especially I can get to take my daughter to play dates with the other kids, and then I take her to the playground every once in a while. We go out, we go watch a movie on weekends, and those kinds of stuff. And a lot of organizations now, or groups organizing events for family events like running, family marathons, or workshops, trainings that would help you become an informed mother. So I guess that's how I enjoyed motherhood at this point. I get to join those events with my daughter, and then at the same time learn something from the trainings, workshops, and that somehow let me forget about the
So it was always a little different, no? Growing up, what we thought motherhood would be, and as we came into motherhood ourselves, we were all in for a pleasant surprise. I don't think anybody can ever really prepare us. We're about to wrap up the program for tonight, but for those of you who are watching, and you can still follow this conversation on social media using the hashtag #WhipIt. Ladies, one last question. I'm going to do a very quick round around all of you, and I'll start with Glyza this time. What do you now know about motherhood that you wish you had known before?
it's fun.
It's fun. Yes.
It's hard, yeah. It's a given truth, but it's fun. It's rewarding, and especially if you get to have the support that you need. You have a very strong support system from your family, from your friends. Even no matter how difficult your situation is, or whatever that is you're going through at this point, just take heart and enjoy the journey of being a mom.
Okay, Connie.
I've held so many jobs, like 3 at the same time, but motherhood is the best job in the world. It is.
It is. Jamie.
That's what I was gonna say. It really is the best thing. Before I got pregnant, even I thought it was gonna be hard, and it is. But all the hardships go away, all the difficulties, the sweat and the pain. You instantly forget it with a hug.
Mm.
So,
Or a smile.
yeah, or a smile.
Patty.
I'm gonna have to say the same thing. Not original.
Oh.
No, because it's true. It's true. There's really nothing else I can think of right now. And you know, if there's one thing I really, really appreciate about being a mother, it's that my kids have helped me survive this whole breast cancer thing. I think they've prayed for me more than anybody else has, because they're the ones who really need me. Diba? So I think I'm here still because of them. So yeah, that's what motherhood's all about. And
Patty, sometimes we think we need to be there for our children, but sometimes they're the ones who are there for us.
without them knowing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because life goes on for them. You know, of course, I know they're bothered by these circumstances, but yeah, without them knowing it, they think they're getting their strength from me because they see how strong I am, but they don't know that it goes both ways. I find strength in them as well.
Gladys.
Well, it sums up everything that they've said, but motherhood is the best thing that ever happened to me, and I think to any mom. I never imagined to be a GM or COO, none of that. But it's because I got so inspired of them. Every day I eat pressure and stress for breakfast. But because I see their picture in my laptop, kayang-kaya ko lahat to. I mean, it's that.
But your mother also has inspired you and is very proud of you to be GM, no? You were saying earlier?
Yeah, well, I was mentioning about that. My mom used to work in the U.S., caretaker, helping my siblings in Los Baños. But I told her last year, you just have to go home. I'll take care of you. So when everyone asked her in our hometown, are you going back to the U.S.? No, I'm staying here. My daughter is a GM now. And she tells that to everyone in the church, in the palengke. She's proud of me.
She could put out a billboard if she put out a billboard.
She might do that also.
Michelle.
What I didn't know before I became a mother is how, of course, I knew when I was going to become a mother, I would be shaping my children because I want them to be contributing members of society. I want them to be good people. I want to teach them right from wrong. But what I didn't know is how much they would teach me. And what I didn't know is how much they would also teach me about myself, my limitations, and showing me also how strong I am, how strong I can be for them, how strong they also are for me. Like in Patty's case, my children are also very supportive and very strong, knowing that they have a sister who has Down syndrome. So they've taught me a lot. My daughter with Down syndrome has taught me a lot about myself, caused me to look in the mirror. You know, we say we want to be the best parents we can be, but really what happens when we're being the best parent we can be is we're also showing them the best parts of ourselves, and they inspire me. I mean, they inspire me to be better, to be more understanding, to be more empathetic, to be just better. Yeah, so I didn't know how much they would teach me. I thought I would be the one doing the teaching. And actually, they're my greatest teachers. So it would be that.
That's
I didn't
one
know.
pleasant surprise of motherhood. We think that it's a lot about giving and giving and giving, but it's also a lot about receiving. You know, it's also a lot about growing from our kids and learning from them. Okay, thank you very much, ladies, for all of your insights.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to all of you out there who are joining us. As you've seen and as you've heard from all these ladies, we're all moms here, but from different backgrounds and different experiences. So we all live out that role of being a mother differently. And it's a very individual, personal experience for each of us. But as each mother knows, it comes with its own labels, its own hardships. And one thing we just know is that one label should never be victim, because you should always play the heroine in your life, as Nora Ephron said, never the victim. Thank you for joining us. This is Anna P. Santos for Whip It, Mom's the Word, brought to you by Pantene. Good evening.